Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers played against the LA Clippers tonight, of course, at the Crow Clipper home floor, and got their boots smoked. Got stomped out by Reggie Jackson. Killer Instinct was on display in full force through that individual this evening. Um, he was just an all-star tonight. 36 points, 8 assists, 9 boards, or something of that nature. You guys know me, I'm never going to get the numbers right, but somewhere in that ballpark, that was what his line was like. He really put on a show. His plus minus was astonishing. I think he was like a plus 44 or something ridiculous like that. He was just the best player on the basketball floor tonight. And he, like I said, it was killer instinct that I saw in him. He had a purpose out there to take it to his ex teammate Russell Westbrook and just prove what it is that they're standing for right now as a team, and I felt like he really represented them the way that I want to see my players represent me as a fan. So of course Reggie Jackson is the star of the night. You got to give credit to the Clippers as a whole though, because they really put a stranglehold on this team. When we decided to make a comeback, try to make a game out of it, they squeezed again and tightened the grips on us once more. This is a special unit that the Clippers have right now, and no one in the Western Conference should want to see them in the playoffs because everybody that they have is apparently getting healthy, and they're already very good without them. Now, bringing players back who have been hurt, of course, we talk about this a lot. It can have a reverse effect and make things worse because they can slide people around into positions that make them less effective, thus making you less effective as a team. But you look at what they have with their coaching, and then you look at the type of talent that they're going to be returning with. I would not at all be surprised if they shock the world and blow straight through everybody in the Western Conference just because they have that type of natural ability. Their depth is so much better than most because of the fact that they've been playing without their stars all year long. And the fact of the matter is they got Kawhi Leonard, and we know what type of cyborg he is in clutch moments. And then you add Paul George to that mix, and you add Norman Powell, who I also think is a player who could go crazy, to that mix. And you couple that with the talent that they have with these players like Reggie Jackson and Terrence Mann, who's coming along, Zubats, who's really going into form, um, Hartenstein or Stein, who played well tonight. Um, you know, Boston and Coffee, the youngsters that I always mention on this team. Marcus Morris, who didn't even play tonight. They got a good unit, man. It's Rocco, who had a really good game tonight. It's a damn shame that they are the Clippers because they have a team that, under better circumstances, they should have a whole city behind them. They should be getting their props as a good unit because this is a real unit they got there. I'm sensing something that could be very special because you just don't see them coming. You're not thinking that they're going to have any chance against Phoenix and Golden State and Memphis, and maybe they don't, but they're already well above us. Now, that's not saying much, but they're a lot better than us without any of those players. And it wasn't close tonight. They flexed comfortably, and that just tells me how good they are. And at full strength, I'm telling you, I am telling you right now, they are a legitimate contender in the Western Conference. I don't care where they're at seating wise. I'm not here to tell you anything other than what I actually honestly believe. If they get back everybody they're supposed to get, you do not want to face them. That's all I got to say. I'm telling you that just from watching this game and every other game they beat us with this year. You don't want to play them. Ty Lue calls excellent timeouts, clock management, things of that nature. I saw he was coaching his butt off, making adjustments, keeping his size on the floor, doing all the stuff you just want to see your coach do. And I pride myself on this channel of giving credit to the opponent, and they were who stood out tonight. It wasn't us. We just happened to show up for a basketball game. It was Reggie Jackson and the Clippers that really came to play, and that was what it was about. The Lakers, we had our moments. We had two highlights at the end of the second quarter that I think are going to be two of the best highlights of the year. Austin Reeves lob to Russell Westbrook and also to um, Malik Monk. Those are two of the best lobs we've had all season. So when you talk about highlights, we definitely had a few. Uh, he also had a nice chase down block. So you just love what you saw out of him, even though the three isn't still following just yet. You're very pleased from the effort that he had in limited minutes. Um, Stanley Johnson, same thing. I loved how he pushed pace tonight. He was coming at people, going hard, doing his thing. We saw good moments out of people like Russell Westbrook, but unfortunately, he was a catalyst for a lot of what went wrong there, and I'll be having to explain that as I always do. It's one of those situations where, okay, he didn't have many turnovers tonight once again, so that I think that's like 2 turnovers tonight. So that's 2 in the last 3 games. So that's really good. In the first quarter, you saw moments where he was pushing the pace. Again, he had that big time lob. So there were moments where you're like, okay, he's doing well. But to be honest with you, things kind of fell apart when he started having the ball in his hands around the end of the first quarter. He started really seeing Frank take the rotation out that kind of got us off to a decent start, and then kind of go into a rotation that had him involved in it more so, with the focus on him kind of making plays. And that's when the tides kind of turned. He started doing the things that he does, and Clippers capitalized, and you look up and they're raining threes. The thing that I always complain about in regards to our guy King James is what we saw a lot of tonight, and I think the team kind of followed his lead. You just can't take a bunch of bad threes, man. I understand that he's trying to save his legs. He's not playing for nothing. It's a dejecting time for him. He's been in a long marathon his whole career. This is probably not his best moment. I get it, but you still gotta lead this basketball club and lead this league. Like literally, he's LeBron. You gotta lead, and settling for jump shots. His body language is just not good right now. What can I say, man? What can I say? His plus minus was terrible. He just didn't play a good game. He didn't. Stats may tell you that LeBron James had a pretty solid game, but to be honest with you, I'm just seeing him settle so much and be so negative, about this circumstance. Even though it doesn't seem like he's attempting to be, he's just not here. And you get it. I firmly understand it. I feel him, but it's just what it is, man. You just gotta fight through that. You gotta put your professional hat on and just play and find little things to do that'll make you feel better about this team. I think it takes a certain type of person to be able to accept what it is that LeBron is now forced to accept, and then kind of recalibrate, and then play perfect basketball for the little things, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's like, okay, now what I'm asking him to do as a fan is take Austin Reeves under your wing, take THT under your wing, and start to love developing them, and let that be your entire focus for the next 19 games. That's what I'm asking him to do. I think that won't benefit him at all. I don't think that's, you know what I mean? I don't think that's something that he'd care to do. But I do think it's what this team needs. And I do think if he were to do that, it would definitely make him have a better team next year with those players, you know what I mean? Or even if we decide to trade them and raise their trade value. So that's really what I think. I would love for him to be someone who wants to develop players as a player, if that makes any sense. Like a Chris Paul guy who seems to love playing with youngsters and can be the oldest guy and wants to see the youngsters succeed and believes he can win with young players. If LeBron was more so like that, this would work out. You know what I mean? If he had the desire that I do for this squad in terms of let me be the oldest guy if I'm playing. Just surround me with guys that are 15 years younger than me, and let me just be the old guy who watches them fly around. Because when you saw the plays with, Malik Monk and Austin Reeves and Russell Westbrook above the rim, when you see stuff like that, you understand how much easier that makes life on LeBron than what it is that he's chosen with this team. And so there were moments tonight where I just got the feeling that even though he wants to play with older guys, if he were thrown into a situation like, say, Charlotte, I think he would have more fun on that team than he would anywhere else, because he would probably benefit best from having players who are faster and stronger and even more athletic than him around him at this stage in his career. I just really believe that. I really believe that. So, so we saw some good things out of the new guys. Even though we didn't get a lot of minutes out of Wenyen Gabriel, he did show us that he can run the floor well. He showed us that he's can shoot the three, and he showed us that he's eager to make use of whatever minutes he's given. So in garbage time minutes, I was paying extreme close attention to the 2 or 3 plays that he was in, and I was excited about what I saw. Very excited. So that's what I can say. Wenyen Gabriel definitely should be given more minutes. DJ Augustin, 6 strong assists. That's what I want to see, because you're a point guard, and quite frankly, we don't really have anybody that's looking to make other guys better outside of LeBron James and Austin Reeves. We just don't have playmakers on this team. Russell Westbrook is not that. So it's good to have a player that can come in, be a point guard, and actually get point guard stats. That's fantastic. We know what DJ can do from a shooting perspective, so we look forward to seeing that as well. No THT, I don't know if I mentioned that already, but he was in street clothes tonight. I'm not sure what was going on. I think he was a late scratch. I have no idea. So I was expecting him to be out there, but he was not. Avery Bradley is still out there. He's still out, not quite back yet. Kendrick Nunn, same thing, of course. AD, of course. So the defensive side of the ball, I think what really hurt us tonight, even more so than usual. I don't think you guys need me to tell you that we didn't run a center very much, and because of it, we didn't rebound the ball very well. I think that kind of goes without saying. That's every night. Zubats and Hartenstein ate very, very well out there. I'm sure they enjoyed getting all those boards. But hey, man, it didn't matter. It didn't matter because the Lakers weren't going to even do anything to put up a fight this evening. They really weren't. I saw some nice plays in the second quarter, but you got to understand how bad they came out in that third quarter. I think they only scored like 6 points in the third quarter in a total, you guys. I mean, it was so horrible. So horrible. Just bad 3-point shots being launched, no defense, lackadaisical play, and just the Clippers just getting red hot from the three, playing the momentum, listening to their crowd cheering for them, and just taking it to us, making sure that they hold their own. I would feel real confident if I were a Clipper fan. They swept us this season, and they did it in demonstrative fashion. There was never a question about who the better team was at any possession on the floor in any of those games. It's just that real. AD or no AD, Bron or no Bron, the Clippers made light of what it is that we call ourselves, and it don't feel too good. I'm not going to play games. I'm very happy that I'm not in the presence of anybody who can talk crap to me about how my team ain't very good and theirs is, because I wouldn't have a whole lot I could really say. Not this year. I'll bring up the history. That's what we got. But right now, they are definitely the premier franchise in Los Angeles. It don't mean that we care, but it does mean that they have a better team. They got a better infrastructure. They got better everything going for themselves, and we have to take that to heart. I want Jeannie to really, really feel this one, because the Clippers really, really stomped you out. Like, let's just be honest. We don't want that. As a Laker fan, we want to at least be able to get one victory against our rivals. We were lucky to get the Celtics once this year, but the Clippers swept us, and that's going to always leave a bad taste in our mouth. Especially when we had championship hopes, and they've been without their stars the entire time. To say unacceptable would just really, really not put enough on it. people should be fired. Like, they really should. I understand taking your time. I understand not wanting to hire an interim coach. I also believe that we would benefit greatly from getting rid of Frank Vogel right now. My why has always been because I do believe that he brings down the value of the players on the team. He brings down the overall asset value pool of this roster by using them the way that he does, by leaning on players that cannot get better, thus making it so that we don't have what we need at the trading table. That is what it's about. So you holding on to him for the end of the season, that is not a harmless decision. That's what I'm trying to express to you guys. It is not a harmless decision. Here is more damage that he can do just by being himself, based on the needs that we have as a team. But even if you get a better coach, if Frank does his job perfectly, it's not going to make a difference if we don't have but one center on the roster. Every single game, our team has the same issues, and it's only but so much Frank can do with one center on the roster, you know? So please, 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 take this into consideration. If you're listening to me, anybody in Lakerland, I'm begging you, sign Willie Cauley-Stein or Moses Brown or any of the young centers that may still be out there waiting for an opportunity. I do believe we have the roster for them to succeed. This is the time to look for that type of player and roster them now. So yeah, man, whole lot of Reggie Jackson, Rocco on the defense, Terrence Mann all on the boards and stuff like that. They had 6 players in double figures, for which is something the Lakers just continue to give up over and over again every night. A whole team continues to blitz us, and we have nothing to offer in terms of stopping them. Saw a lot of leaning on vets this evening. As I always say, Carmelo Anthony was out there a lot tonight. We saw a lot of Russell Westbrook. He got more minutes than I would have liked this evening, given the fact that he was struggling the way that he was from the floor, kind of just really having issues making plays for others and stuff like that, timing stuff, just bad, really, really bad. Man. The only thing that makes me feel better as a Laker fan is listening to everyone else, realizing that they see the same things that I see, It really does come down to guys just ultimately not having a center on the floor to get offensive rebounds, and what that ultimately does to a basketball team in terms of their morale. It brings the morale down. Guys start slumping their shoulders when they realize that they can't get any help on the inside, man. There's no one there to be on the weak side. There's no one there to clean up their missed shots. There's no one there to handle some of the stuff that bigs do, set big screens. It's just so much bad, and you're not foregoing it for the spacing that allows you to shoot the ball. This guy will put a small ball lineup on the floor with non-shooters. I mean, it's just like, what exactly are we doing? What is our plan here? I've been listening to different people talk about this team and their identity and the fact that we don't have one. There is no identity. The identity I see is team that gives away free W's. If you want one, if you're in a slump, come see us. We will help you get out of it. That's our identity. I look at our record, I say that we're not our record. Those W's we got came early in the season. A lot of those W's we got, they came when we had AD on the floor, when we had an opportunity to really stomping people out, when LeBron James was just in a great zone, one for which he is not in right now. Our record is a lot worse, a lot better than what we are, and I can't stress that enough. Obviously, a big portion of that has to do with the lack of AD. I think we, as I said, he provided a great deal of wins for us early on, where we would have games where we didn't do anything right, but because he gave us just enough boards, just enough block shots, we would squeeze out a 90 to 87 win over a Magic or something like that. Those were the types of wins we would get. We would still look just as bad as we do right now, but just enough from AD would get us those victories. Those are our wins of the season. We've lost what, 7 out of the last 8? I mean, we're horrible. We're one of the very worst teams in basketball right now. It's not even. It's not up for debate at this point, So I just want to congratulate the Clippers and the New Orleans Pelicans, who will be getting our pick this year, and anybody else that's rooting against the Lakers, because this is your time to shine, man. For whatever y'all got to say to us, it's the time to say it, because it's about rock bottom as it get. And I know we've had worse rosters. I'm not gonna say we haven't had worse circumstances or worse teams, worse records. All we've had worse, but none of them felt like this. This felt like karma coming to knock us around for some bad stuff we did. Like, this was a bad omen, a curse upon us, I tell you. And I'm just ready for it to end. So all those who are saying, "Oh, LeBron James is the great," hey, look, man. Coming from somebody who has him here, a guy that who's not from our city. You know what I mean? It's not like Cleveland where we have love for him in that way. Just as a guy who came around, brought us a championship, we appreciate him, but we are definitely paying for that championship. That's what you guys need to understand. All those non-Laker fans, all those people who wish LeBron was on their team, you take it from a Laker fan with a lot of championships. We're paying for that one. This has been the most expensive championship we've ever had. As in, yeah, we got it, but then boom, all the hard times that came with it after it. Just like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? This is not exactly just been we didn't even get a parade for that. Like, that's how bad it's been. So yeah, forgive me for saying thank you, Ron, but I'm cool. Forgive me as a fan, because that's exactly how I feel. Thank you, bro. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? For real. So, yeah, man. Game ball, of course, goes to Reggie. That goes without saying. That dude that might have been his best game in his career tonight. That might be his premier game. Maybe up there with one of his OKC playoff performances or something. I don't know. But Reggie Jackson was awesome. And dare I say that somebody I'd want the Lakers to sign, because, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because that's the killer instinct that I've been telling you guys I want to see. Reggie put that killer instinct on us. And I think I was mentioning that in the last game about killer instinct and how we're lacking it and what it takes to close games out. Reggie displayed it. Like, he gave me exactly what I wanted to see. Unfortunately, he's the opponent. So, there's that. Anyway, man, my phone is going to run out of time whether I want to keep on rambling or not. But the Lakers did definitely get their butts kicked in a thorough fashion by the Los Angeles Clippers. A much better team, much more organized franchise. And that doesn't feel good to say. My name is BDL44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.